Now on CoastTV News.
We are just hours away from the Route 50 bridge closing, how it could impact your travel. Intersection safety, how new crosswalks and signs could be coming to one city on the coast. Martin Luther King Jr. Day across Delmarva, a time for people to reflect and honor one of the most important civil rights activists in history.
And the first blast of cold air is going to drop us to single digits tomorrow morning, and the second blast will go below zero.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
This drawbridge will soon be upright for days at a time. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson in for Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with a major detour ahead of a planned bridge closure in Ocean City. According to the Maryland State Highway Administration, the Route 50 bridge in downtown Ocean City will be closed to traffic from January 20th through February 3rd. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us how this could change your daily commute.
Whether you are driving into Ocean City or riding your bike out to West Ocean City, you'll likely feel the impact of the Route 50 bridge closure.
I'd take a rowboat.
Jamie Bone, who uses this bridge to get to work, is planning ahead before it shuts down.
So every day I'm going to take a half hour there and a half hour back.
According to the Maryland State Highway Administration, the Route 50 bridge will be under a full lane closure between January 20th and February 3rd, with an occasional single lane closures before and after that time frame. Crews will be replacing the nose lock assembly and repairing floor beams, work that requires the movable section of the bridge to remain in the upright position. With a detour in place, how much longer will that commute take? We decided to put Bone's situation to the test. Bone lives on 14th Street and tells us her usual commute takes around 5 minutes when using the Route 50 bridge to get to West Ocean City. So we hopped in our news car and started the timer to see how much extra time the detour adds. When taking the detour, it took us a little under 28 minutes to get to Bone's work. That's around a 23-minute difference when she's taking the Route 50 bridge compared to the Route 90. And with the detour starting tomorrow, that difference could increase. Although the detour is an inconvenience, Bone says she understands why the work is necessary.
So I was a little upset to hear about it, but after I realized, the work that really does need to be done, it probably is the best timing to do for everyone involved.
With only one bridge in and out of Ocean City during this closure, drivers are encouraged to plan ahead and allow extra travel time. I'm Kevin Zappe, Ocean City, CoastTV News.
Following the full closure and detour, also there will be occasional single lane closures that will continue until repairs are completely finished. Expected to be done by March 20th, with weather permitting during that time. The channel under the Route 50 bridge will remain closed to marine traffic as crews repair the drawspan's mechanical system. Officials say some vessels may still pass under the flanking spans. In Milford, police are investigating a deadly crash that happened this morning just after 6:30 a.m. On your screen now is where officers say a BMW was heading north on North Rehoboth Boulevard near Purdue Farms when an 81-year-old woman was hit. She was taken to a hospital where she later died. The road was closed for several hours as police investigated. And we're now going to be taking a live look outside into Ocean City and bringing our first alert, Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams, for a look at tonight's weather. Good evening, Paul.
Well, good evening to you. And right now, we're getting ready to deal with some serious cold in our neck of the woods. Right now, we're at 36 degrees, and that's cold enough. That is nothing. And I'm very serious when I say nothing compared to what's on the way tomorrow morning, and then especially after the snow over the weekend. So we are expecting for it to drop down to 27 with clearing skies, actually. We're holding at 28 degrees in Millsboro as well as Redden right now. It's 31 degrees in Georgetown. Small craft advisory, so it's a little bit breezy along the entire coastal region for the entire Delmarva Peninsula, and that's not going to help us out as far as any kind of comfort level is concerned. But as I go into our bigger story, we have colder air that's coming out of our northwest, and it's going to really affect us. By tomorrow morning, we're going to feel like this. 6 is what it's going to feel like just about everywhere, with the exception of 7 in Bethany Beach and 8 in places like Fenwick Island and in Ocean City. Now, Brandon, we've got to talk about a snowstorm, and then we've got to talk the wind chill factor dropping to 10 below in some areas for next week.
Thank you, Paul. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Meanwhile, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it's about service, and today local volunteers honored that message by giving back to their community. Instead of taking the day off, many people spent the holiday at the Brandywine Valley SPCA in Georgetown. Community members pitched in wherever help was needed, from sweeping floors and wiping down windows to doing laundry and dishes, all in support of animals across Delmarva. Mary Richardson, who works at the BVSPCA, says the experience offers a unique perspective.
It's a great opportunity for people to see a side of the shelter that they don't see when they don't come in as a volunteer. There's the adopter side of the shelter, and then there's the volunteer side. And this is just another way to look at everything at the shelter.
Organizers say acts of service like these help keep Dr. King's legacy alive, reminding us that giving back can make a lasting difference both for people and for pets in need. The Food Bank of Milford held a food packing event to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Volunteers from across Delaware came to help pack food for children in the community. CoastTV photojournalist Tyler Ridson shows us what this event means to the food bank and its volunteers.
Volunteering is really the heart and soul of our organization. We couldn't do everything we do without volunteers. So today is a really special day to have them come out, be able to be involved in our mission. So these are backpacks that are being created for our child nutrition program. So they get packed up here in our facility, delivered to schools all over the state between Tuesday and Thursday, and dropped in child's book bags before they leave on Friday so that they have food over the weekends.
So one of the goals for MLK, Dr. King, was to push forth the commitment of service. And so as you can see, our teammates are here packing the bags. Personally, it makes me think of things greater than myself. It's a core value of my own to give back to others when I'm in a position to be able to do so. So again, instead of sleeping in, it was important for me that we give back to people who are less fortunate.
And just a few hours ago, downtown Milford Incorporated hosted a family-friendly event at the Milford Senior Center featuring music, reflection, and a keynote speech from Cliff Von Howell focused on service, equality, and unity. CoastTV photojournalist Matt Hipsman shows us how Milford celebrated this powerful day.
Tonight we came here to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the federal holiday of Dr. Martin Luther King, and then also to celebrate his legacy and celebrate the impact that he had on changing America.
I believe with all my heart that we are not just studying the life and the works and the methods of Dr. King, we're actually living it and putting it into action.
You said love when others said hate.
The children are our future leaders. They will inherit what we leave behind, and in order to move the country forward and to progress to replace that beloved community that Dr. King talked about, it's going to take the children and each generation after that making sure they stand on that.
There's a little bit of all ethnicities in the city of Milford, so we live the culture and we live the dream of Dr. King very well.
They call us together, not only to reflect, but to recommit ourselves to the unfinished work of justice.
Thank you. Thank you. If we listen and take heed to the teachings, then we will ultimately get back to bending that moral arc to justice.
Now moving to street and road safety in Lewis. 2 intersections in Lewis may be getting some safety upgrades. At New Road and Falk School Lane, this trail stops at the road with no crosswalk. It leaves people trying to walk or bike across and essentially be their own crossing guard. It's a similar story at the intersection of Gills Neck Road and the Lewis-Georgetown Trail. People say it's dangerous getting off and onto the road heading into the city. People tell us they are hopeful for some crosswalks or additional signs to help make getting across a little bit safer.
I feel it's necessary, yes, because there's a lot of seniors who live here and people bike that live in this area and probably other neighborhoods who pass through here. And yes, definitely, I think it needs to be done because we have to be safe.
Staying in Lewis, today delays started on southbound Route 1 near Conaway Road. You see them on your screen now. DelDOT has begun ongoing lane closures. That work is taking place between Best Lane and Janus Road and will last about 4 weeks. Crews are currently widening the roadway and shifting barriers for a new underpass and service roads. Lane closures run daily from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are just getting started here on Coast TV News at 11. Coming up, pony swim dates, when the swim is, and all the excitement happening all week in the summer. National tensions rise as President Trump attempts to make Greenland a U.S. territory. And coming up first, Paul Williams is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center, and he has your chilly forecast coming up.
Whew. This week is going to be a rough weather week. I'm just going to tell you up front, you're not going to like it. And by the time you get to your weekend, it's going to get worse. And then when you get to next week, it's going to be worser. And you think worser is not a word? Wait till you see what I show you. You'll see what worser looks like, okay? Rehoboth Beach, 32 degrees right now. Clearing out and 27 by 3 o'clock. Temps right now, 29 in Millsboro, Long Neck, 30 right now in Milton and Milford. But ironically, we're about 3 degrees warmer from where we were just yesterday. But that's going to change. It feels like the actual temperatures right now because the winds haven't picked up momentum, but they will soon. Small craft advisory has just been initiated for the entire coastal region of the Delmarva Peninsula. So we're watching out for about 25-mile-per-hour winds. And with the cold that's on the way, it only takes a little nudge to make things go from bad to really, really worse quickly. Stationary boundary is actually to our northwest. So winds maxed out at about 28 miles per hour in Salisbury, but they'll be coming out of the west-northwest at about 27 to 30 miles per hour for Tuesday, and that's going to kick in that cold feel. In fact, that cold's going to grip us as early as tomorrow morning, and then we're going to have just slice after slice of cold, cold air. Let me show you why it's going to feel so dramatic to us as well. See all this red? We've been tracking way above the norm for the last few days. All this good stuff, the party is over, pal. We are about to go into the cellar and stay there for an extended period of time. Let me start off with the freeze potential. For example, we're going to be crazy cold for tomorrow morning, and you'll feel that. Wednesday as well. Then Saturday, Sunday, and going to Monday, if this icicle, if I had a scale that could go below that, it'd be down here below your screen. That's how cold we're going to become. So take a look. We start off in the teens tomorrow morning. This isn't the wind chill, this is the temperatures. Then we go up to 28 and near 30. Wednesday, we start off in the teens again. And then we go up to near 40. And that's going to be our only break or reprieve. Then it starts getting cloudy, setting up for a chance of snow. Let's talk wind chills first of all. It's going to feel like 6 degrees tomorrow morning, just about everywhere. I don't have to point out specific cities. If you can hear my voice, it's going to feel like 6 degrees, maybe 8 if you're lucky, if you live in Selbyville and Fenwick Island. Then it's going to feel like 11 degrees Wednesday morning. Friday, we go back to the teens. Now, remember what I said, worser? This is what worser looks like. Saturday morning, it's going to feel like -8, -9 in Milton and in Ellendale. And for us here, since we're not from Alaska, that's kind of dramatic for us here, all right? That being said, look at the precipitation chances. 43% on Saturday. Sunday, we have a better chance of snow. This time, I'm feeling extremely confident about the snow because of how it's setting up and the fact that we already have cold air in place. So a decent slice of snow is going to pull through, and it's going to hit us particularly Sunday, and it's going to become a big problem. And then much unusually cold air steps in right behind it. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast. Crazy cold on Saturday, Sunday, teens in the lows.
Thank you, Paul. And now to international news. Tensions escalating yet again over President Trump's attempts to make Greenland a U.S. territory. This comes after the president threatened new tariffs on 8 European allies, which would go up until a deal to secure Greenland from Denmark is reached.
With tensions heating up over the Arctic island of Greenland, President Trump ratcheting up his rhetoric and economic pressure to own the Danish territory, declining to answer when asked by NBC News today if he would use force to take it over, and threatening a 10% tariff on 8 European countries that oppose his fight for the island, that he says is vital for U.S. security. But today, the Norwegian Prime Minister giving another insight in the territorial tussle, releasing a text he says he received from the president that states, quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace." Administration officials pushing back.
We are not going to outsource our hemispheric security to anyone else.
European leaders now looking at options to counter Trump's new import tax, including their own tariffs and a so-called trade bazooka, never before used, that allows EU nations to retaliate, though some leaders taking a more measured tone.
I think that this can be resolved and should be resolved through calm discussion.
The EU is America's largest trading bloc.
I think you will expect to see a number of senators join in an anti-tariff resolution filed right when we get back.
The escalation in tensions is really troubling, and we are on the verge of a crippling trade war with Europe.
Trump has made no secret he wants to own Greenland.
We need Greenland for national security very badly.
To counter what he calls a growing threat from Russia and China. But in a statement, the Chinese government says the U.S. should stop using a China threat for selfish gains. President Trump will head to the Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland this week, where Treasury Secretary Bessent says the president will tell officials that this is what American leadership in the world looks like. Garrett Hake, NBC News, the White House.
Back here on Delmarva, the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company is announcing some important dates regarding the annual Pony Week. The 101st Pony Penning Week is from July 25th through the 31st. The Sunrise Beach Walk you see here is scheduled for July 27th. And of course, the main event, the Pony Swim, that's on July 29th this year. Coming up, a higher flu risk for kids. Experts tell us how to help treat and prevent the sickness.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
There's good news and bad when it comes to seasonal flu activity here in the U.S. The latest CDC data shows that while flu cases remain elevated across the country, the amount of activity has decreased or stayed stable for 2 consecutive weeks. But the bad news, deaths linked to flu are trending upward, and health experts are bracing for the potential of a second round of the virus. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a pediatrician about why children are one of the groups at highest risk and how to protect them.
In the U.S., hospitalizations for flu in children younger than age 18 have the highest peak weekly rate in more than 15 years. And in the latest week of data, there were 15 flu-related pediatric deaths for a total of 32 reported child deaths associated with flu this season. The CDC says 90% of those who died were not fully vaccinated against flu.
Children, especially under the age of 2, they're pretty small. And when they're still small, you get something that's just so inflammatory, like influenza. When it gets into your lungs, it causes a lot of inflammation.
Dr. Frank Esper with Cleveland Clinic Children says the best protection against severe disease is for adults and children 6 months and older to get a flu shot.
By protecting yourself against influenza, you're also protecting everybody in your family.
Washing hands and highly touched surfaces can also help prevent the spread. For young children, especially at preschool, Esper recommends an adult using an alcohol-based rub to remove germs.
Alcohol is actually a better way to clean off their hands than to use soap and water.
If a child is sick, Esper says to keep them home, and you can also consider masking.
We masked up during the first rounds of COVID. We saw flu just drop, because everybody was staying away from each other, everybody was masking when they were out, and flu couldn't get through that.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
President Trump purchased up to $51 million worth of company and municipal debts at the end of last year. That's according to a financial disclosure form submitted by the White House, which showed 191 financial transactions. The investments include 4 purchases of Netflix and Discovery Communication bonds worth up to $2 million. The investments were made after Netflix announced it planned to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery Studio and HBO assets. It's unclear if an independent firm or agent made the purchases on Trump's behalf. The price of gold and silver have reached new highs. U.S. gold futures rose to a little more than $4,600 per ounce today, with silver following suit at a record of just over $93 per ounce. Gold and silver tend to perform well in periods of heightened uncertainty. The surge comes after President Trump threatened new tariffs on European countries as he presses for a deal for the U.S. to take control of Greenland. Coming up in sports, the Salisbury Schoolboys soccer team had a historically successful fall. Now, the Dragons have some more hardware heading their way. McDermott fired and Harbaugh hired. We have your national and local sports news next. Another NFL coach is now looking for work. The Buffalo Bills fired head coach Sean McDermott after the team lost the divisional round on Saturday. He's been at the helm since 2017 and has taken the Bills to the playoffs 8 times. So now McDermott joins 8 other NFL coaches who have been told to hit the road this offseason. Only the New York Giants and Atlanta Falcons have filled their vacancies so far. Staying in the AFC, Broncos quarterback Bo Nix suffered a broken right ankle towards the end of Saturday's divisional overtime thriller against the Bills. Head coach Sean Payton announced Nix is expected to undergo surgery tomorrow, and Nix will be out for the remainder of the season. Backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham will now replace Nix next week. He has only appeared in 1 game this year. Denver will play the New England Patriots for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons have found their new coach. The team has hired former Cleveland Browns coach Kevin Stefanski. The Browns fired him after leading the team for 6 seasons. Stefanski had a losing record in Cleveland, going 45-56. In Atlanta, the Falcons have missed the playoffs for the past 8 years. And it's officially a done deal for the New York Giants. They have hired former Baltimore Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. The Giants were one of 9 NFL teams looking for a new coach. Harbaugh brings an impressive resume to the Big Apple. He coached the Ravens for 18 years and led the team to a Super Bowl victory in 2012. Harbaugh has a winning record of 180-113.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studio.
It's time to name this month's coach who makes a difference, and it's going to the leader of a soccer team that's been growing together for nearly a decade. Most of the players on the Salisbury Schoolboys soccer team have been playing together for over half a decade.
Well, you know, most of these guys I've had since they were babies, 6th grade, and they're seniors now, so it was important. We've been building for this one special year.
The Dragons have developed under him, head man Kenny Driscoll. He's been very intentional with his coaching.
We built a system back in 6th grade. They bought in, they believed in it, and we just perfected it. They played that system and stuck with it no matter the score and the results. You can look at the schedule and see the results. Their system was just unmatched.
That system, which revolves around possession and pace, led the Salisbury School to its first ever undefeated season and ESEAC championship. So we stopped by to reward Coach Driscoll for his work. Hey, Coach. Appreciate you taking the time to come to the school today, where you just had a pretty good season, right?
Yeah, a little bit special.
A little bit special, undefeated ESEAC championship first in school history. That's more than pretty special, right?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, so, well, us and our friends at Preston Automotive, if they want to come on over, we've evaluated a bunch of great candidates, and we said you are Delmarva's coach who makes a difference this month. So congratulations, Coach.
Wow.
So again, congratulations to Coach Driscoll and the Salisbury Schoolboys soccer team. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
Each Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. Go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen. It's full of features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for our Feel Good Friday newsletter at coasttv.com/sign up. And Paul, this weather won't make you feel good.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is not going to feel good at all. Starting early as tomorrow morning. We're at 31 degrees. That's about as good feeling we're going to get because we're dropping to 26 as early as 3 o'clock. Winds are picking up momentum, so we have the small craft advisories for the entire Delmarva Peninsula as the cold front pushes through. Now, our umbrella giveaway winner is Patricia Mitchell of Seaford. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. Now, I want to remind you about our weather line. By the way, our weather line is highlighting what's happening with the forecast. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Let's start with this. Tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up to a wind chill of 6. Plenty of sunshine, beautiful looking day, but ugly on how it feels. And this weekend, another round of snow.
Thank you, Paul. We'll be gearing up for it. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is up next. We'll see you tomorrow morning for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.